Hi guys, thanks for joining me today. So this is part 2 in our Learn to Crochet series where I'm sharing my love of crochet with you guys. And I hope that you can follow along on this journey and find your own love of crochet and love of this awesome, fun hobby. Okay, so in the first video, we learned how to hold the crochet hook. We learned how to slip stitch, make your slip knot to start out with, and then we learned how to make a chain, okay? So that's the very first things that you do in most projects. You pick up your yarn and your hook, you make your slip knot, and you make your chain. So remember, we made a chain of 10. All right, the very next thing that you do is you go on to row 1, because this is all pretty and everything, but you need to make a project that's not just a chain, okay? So let's pull out some yarn, make it a little bit easier. And let's grab the crochet hook. I use the knife hook, remember I told y'all, but you can kind of do it however is comfortable for you. And then this is how I hold the working yarn. Usually I just drape it over my pointer finger and tuck it underneath these other fingers. Again, do what's comfortable for you, kind of play around with it. Okay, so you see your working yarn is coming out of that first stitch. So we're going to go on right to the next open stitch, which is this one right here, and we're going to put our crochet hook in, and we're going to learn how to make a single crochet. Okay, this is the most basic crochet stitch. So we're going to go into this next open stitch, and we're going to poke our crochet hook in there, and we're going to yarn over, remember, back to front, and we're going to pull through that loop. Okay, so now we have 2 loops on our hook. You're going to yarn over and you're going to pull through both loops. Okay, we just made our first single crochet. Let's do that again. Go over to the next available stitch. It's right there. And we're going to go in with our hook. Go in, yarn over, pull through the one, yarn over, and pull through both loops. Okay, next available stitch is right there. So you're going to go right in there, grab your yarn. And when I say grab the yarn, it's just yarning over and pulling through, and then yarning over and pulling through both. Okay, go into the next available stitch, pull your yarn through, or yarn over and pull through, and then yarn over and pull through both. Okay, and you see what I mean by pull up the yarn. I'm just yarning over. Okay, ready? Next available, you're looking at it, next available stitch right there. You're going through, you're yarning over, pulling through, yarning over, pulling through. And as you get more comfortable with crochet, you don't really have to like yarn over, you kind of just grab the yarn with the hook. But as you're learning, I tend to use my hand a lot to help it, so it's totally fine either way. Okay, going through the next stitch, yarning over, pulling through, yarning over, pulling through. Oop, and did I, no, wait, guys, I did that right. It looked like on camera, like I split the thread, okay, or the yarn. So we have 3 more to do, ready? You go through, pull up your loop, yarn over, oh, sorry, got a little twisted up, and pull through those 2. Okay, 2 more. Put your hook in, pull up your loop, yarn over, pull through 2. All right, last one. You're going through, yarning over, pulling up a loop, yarn over, and pull through 2. Okay, we completed our first row. Doesn't look like a whole lot, but it's kind of exciting. And how you move on to the second row is you chain 1. So remember the chain, yarning over and pulling through. Oops, yarning over and pulling through is our chain. Okay, so we chain and turn our work. And so all the patterns will tell you chain 1 and turn your work, or chain 2, however, and turn your work. Okay, so you're always going to work right to left. Okay, so the opposite of like reading. Okay, we're going to go back and make row 2 now using that same thing, the single crochet. Only difference is, now that you've made a whole row, I'll show you where to put your hook through. In most cases, now every pattern is different. Okay, the top of each stitch looks like a V. Do you see that? Just a whole bunch of V's. So you're gonna put your crochet hook through the V. So it's going to go through both of them. So underneath both, okay? Just like that, okay? So that's how you do it. You just, whatever stitch you're going through, you go under both of those V's, okay? Now, some patterns will call for just front loop or back loop, and that just means you go through the front of your V or the back of your V. But for, you know, just basic single crochet, we're going to go through both. So ready? We're ready to go. Let's find our very first stitch. So turn it on the top, find the very first V, which is right here, okay? Right here, and we're going to go through it, okay? So you're going to go under your first V, okay? You're going to yarn over, and we're going to pull through, okay? Now this looks familiar. Now we just yarn over and pull through both, okay? Now go right into the next one. Yarn over and pull through. Yarn over, pull through both, okay? And we're going to continue that. So find your next available stitch right here. Put your crochet hook through, okay? Yarn over and pull through. Yarn over, pull through both, okay? Now let's just keep on going with that. So next available stitch, going through both V's. Yarn over, pull up, yarn over, pull through both. Okay, next available stitch, going through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through both. Okay, next one. All right, looks like we only have 2 more. Okay, last one. You see we have 1 more V before the end of our end. And it can be hard, a little bit difficult when you're starting out to notice what the end stitches are, but we have 1 more V, we can see that. So let's go in there and yarn over and pull through. Or sometimes, or they pull up a loop. Okay, and then yarn over and pull through both. And we just completed row 2. So how do we move on to row 3? We're not going to do a whole row 3 walk through, but how do we go on to the next row? We chain 1, yarn over, pull through, and turn our work, okay? And then we're going to start working back, boop, that way. So let me do row 3 really quickly just so you can kind of see, but I won't give a whole talk through with it. And then your patterns will kind of direct you more on where to start. Some patterns will want you to jump over to the second available stitch, or some will want you to go right into that first V. So for this purpose, we're not working off a pattern, we're just kind of doing it. We're going to go into that very first stitch, okay? Okay, and then I'm just going to work this row, and then we're going to finish at this episode, or this lesson, okay? So going to the next available one, pulling up a loop, pulling through. Okay, now I'm just kind of in the groove, but you see how the ball is moving towards me, so every once in a while I'll stop and kind of pull out more yarn just to make it easier and smoother of a process. Okay, and you'll feel it. You'll feel your yarn when it's kind of pulling, and that's just your indication to pull out more yarn. Or get a yarn bowl, which I will show you here as soon as I finish this row. All right, finished row 3. Chain 1, turn it around. Okay, we're ready to move on to row 4. So you would just continue this as long as you wanted. So say we're doing like a coaster, because this is about a coaster size. You just keep doing it maybe 10 rows, okay? And then you come up with a nice little square. Let me continue working one up so then I can show you how to end a project on the next video. So our next video, part 3 of learning how to crochet, will be finishing your project, cutting off, and tying off and weaving in your ends. So join me for that one. All right, thanks for joining me today, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.